Stop everything right now because someone you know just forgot about you. Your name just slipped from their mind. Everything you told them, everything you're going through, just gone like it never happened. And here's the part that stings the most. You've been waiting for them, waiting for that text message, waiting for someone to check if you're okay, but it's not coming and it never does. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. Nobody is thinking about you. Not the way you think about yourself at 2 a.m. when you can't sleep. Not the way you replay your embarrassing moments over and over. Not the way you dream about your future and worry if it'll ever happen. You are completely alone, and I know that sounds terrifying, but stick with me because by the end of this, you'll understand why that's actually the most powerful thing that could ever happen to you. Think about last week, when you shared something important, maybe something good happened, or maybe you needed help. How many people really cared, and how many actually checked on you the next day? Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Look around your life right now. Your best friend forgot your birthday. Your family asks same questions every single week, like they never remember what you told them. People at work smile at you, then completely forget you exist 5 seconds later. You send someone a long, heartfelt message pouring everything out, and they send back, okay, or cool, or even worse. Nothing at all, just silence that confirms what you already suspected deep down. And it hits you like ice water. You don't really matter to them. Not because you did something wrong, but because everyone is busy being the main character in their own story, and you're just background noise in theirs. Think about yesterday. Did anyone ask how you were really doing? Not the automatic, hey, how are you, that doesn't mean anything, but really ask and really listen and really care. Nobody did. Maybe one person, if you're extremely lucky, but probably nobody at all. Your boss only cares if you finish your work. Your friends want fun, not problems. Your family is drowning in their own mess. And even if you're in a relationship, that person is thinking about their own worries, most of the time, not yours. This sounds depressing and dark and hopeless. But wait, because what I'm about to tell you will completely change how you see everything. This isn't bad news. This is actually the key that unlocks your entire life. See, you've been walking around your whole life, carrying these invisible chains, made from worrying what people think, made from hoping someone will rescue you, made from waiting, and waiting for someone to finally notice you and care. But nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is watching your every move. Nobody cares enough to judge you the way you brutally judge yourself every single day. Let that really sink in deep. The audience you think is watching you and critiquing your every move, they left the theater? They were never watching your show in the first place because they're too busy worrying about their own performance. So why are you still pretending and hiding who you really are? Why are you terrified of what they might think when the reality is they're not thinking about you at all? Here's what happens next. Tomorrow morning you wake up in the same bed, in the same room, but something fundamental has shifted inside you. You finally understand that your life belongs to you and only you. Nobody else gets a vote in it. Your dreams are yours to chase or abandon. Your fears are yours to face or run from. Your choices are completely and entirely yours, every single one of them, without exception. And suddenly this crushing weight just falls off your shoulders. The weight of disappointing people who weren't even paying attention. The weight of impressing people who already forgot you exist. The weight of performing for an audience that never showed up to watch. You're actually free now. Not the fake freedom where you still obsessively check your phone, hoping someone validated you, but real freedom, where you genuinely stop caring if they noticed at all. Think about that thing you've wanted to do, but haven't done yet. Why haven't you done it? Because you're scared someone might laugh or judge you, or think you're weird or not understand you. But here's the reality. They're way too busy worrying about their own problems to laugh at you, too distracted by their own fears to judge yours, too confused about their own messy life to pay attention to what you're doing with yours. So that thing you wanted to try, just do it. That dream you buried deep down, dig it back up, right now. That person you've always wanted to become, start becoming them today, not tomorrow. Because nobody cares enough to stop you from doing it, and nobody cares enough to help you do it either, which means you absolutely have to start caring about yourself because nobody else will. This is where most people completely break down. They hear, nobody cares, and they crumble inside. They feel worthless and invisible and small, and they just give up entirely. But you're not most people. You're still here right now, still listening, because somewhere deep inside, you sense that this painful truth actually contains real power. When nobody cares about what you do, nobody gets to control you anymore. When nobody is watching, you can't publicly fail in front of them. When nobody expects anything from you, then you can't possibly disappoint them. You become invisible, but in the most liberating way possible. Free to completely change yourself. Free to try wild new things. Free to become whoever you want without needing anyone's permission slip. Look at your actual life right now. How much precious energy are you completely wasting trying to look good for others? How many hours crafting the perfect social media post? How many sleepless nights worrying about what someone said about you behind your back? All of it totally wasted because they're doing the exact same thing, worried sick about themselves, performing for you while you perform for them, and neither of you is actually watching the other's performance. It's like a circus where everyone is desperately juggling, but nobody is in the audience watching. Everyone is terrified of dropping a ball in front of people who aren't even looking. So stop juggling, just put the balls down and walk off the stage. The circus doesn't need you, and you definitely don't need the circus anymore. Here's what radically changes. When you truly accept this reality, you stop asking other people for permission to live. You stop waiting for approval that's never coming. You stop needing validation from people who can barely validate themselves. You start making decisions lightning fast, because why wait around when nobody cares what you choose anyway? You start taking bigger risks, because nobody is keeping score of your wins and losses. You start being brutally honest, because nobody is listening closely enough to catch you in a lie. Your mistakes suddenly matter so much less, because nobody is writing them down in some permanent record. But your wins matter infinitely more, because you're genuinely celebrating them for yourself, not for likes and comments. You become dangerous in the absolute best way. Dangerous to mediocrity. Dangerous to fear. Dangerous to that voice in your head that constantly whispers, "But what will they think of me?" What will they think? Absolutely nothing. Because they're thinking about themselves, and they always were, and they always will be. So stop living small, and playing it safe, and hiding all the weird, interesting parts of yourself. Stop dimming your light so other people feel comfortable, because they're not comfortable anyway. They're drowning in their own darkness. That deep loneliness you feel isn't because something is broken inside you. It's because you're finally waking up and seeing reality clearly for the first time. And seeing clearly always feels lonely at first, before it feels powerful. You are alone, but you were always alone. You just didn't realize it before. You thought the crowd of people around you meant something, but crowds are just collections of lonely people, all pretending they're not lonely. Now you know the truth. And truth, even when it's painful, sets you completely free. Free from needing them, free from fearing them, free from endlessly performing for them. Your life belongs entirely to you. Nobody else wants to live it. Nobody else can live it. Nobody else cares about it the way you do. So stop giving them so much power over something that's yours alone. Every single morning when you wake up, you get to choose. Choose your direction, choose where your energy flows, choose what actually matters. And nobody gets to vote on those choices except you. Will you make mistakes along the way? Absolutely yes. Will people notice when you do? Probably not. Will any of it matter in 5 years? Definitely not. So why are you so paralyzed by fear right this second? You're scared of ghosts, of an audience that doesn't exist. You've been afraid of absolutely nothing your entire life, and now it's time to turn on the lights and see that. Here's what schools never teach you. Caring about yourself isn't selfish or mean. It's pure survival. Because if you don't care about your own life, and nobody else does either, then who exactly is driving this vehicle? Nobody is driving, and a car with nobody at the wheel crashes hard and fast. So grab the steering wheel with both hands, look straight ahead at the road, stop looking in the rearview mirror at people who aren't even following you, because they're on their own, completely different road. Your dreams matter because they're yours, and nobody else's. Your time matters because you never get it back once it's gone. Your energy matters because you alone decide where it goes. Not your parents who just want you to be safe, not your friends who want you to stay exactly the same, not society that wants you to follow all the rules, your life, your choices, your consequences, your glory. You've spent years and years building a version of yourself for other people. The good kid, the reliable friend, the hard worker, the nice person who never makes waves. And what exactly did all that people-pleasing get you? Exhaustion, resentment, and a life that doesn't even feel like it belongs to you anymore because it doesn't. It belongs to the version of you that everyone else wanted you to be, not who you actually are inside. The real you has been locked away this whole time, just waiting and trying desperately to break free. And right now, in this exact moment, the door is finally opening. Nobody cares what you do, so do exactly what you want. Nobody is keeping a detailed record of your failures, so fail big and learn from it. Nobody is measuring your success against their arbitrary rules, so make up your own rules. Want to start that project you've been dreaming about? Start it today, not next week. Want to leave that soul-crushing job? Start making your exit plan right now. Want to finally say what you really think? Open your mouth and say it. Worst case scenario, someone doesn't like it. And guess what happens then? They forget about it by dinner time because they don't actually care. Not in a cruel way, but in a human way. They're just busy living their own complicated life. This is the exact moment where everything splits into before and after. The old you dies right here. The you that lived for others. The you that waited for permission. The you that needed constant applause just to keep moving forward. That person is gone forever, and someone new stands in their place. Someone free. Someone who finally understands that the only approval that truly matters comes from looking in the mirror. Look at the people you actually admire and respect. The ones doing incredible things, living bold, authentic lives, speaking difficult truths that others are too scared to say. Do you think they waited for everyone to agree with them? Do you think they needed the whole world's permission? Absolutely not. They figured out what you're figuring out right now. Nobody cares. So they stopped caring what nobody thought, and they started building exactly what they wanted to build. That's your path now. It won't be easy, or comfortable, or safe, but it will be real. Finally, authentically real, for the first time in your life. You'll lose some people along the way, the ones who preferred the old, controllable, predictable version of you. Let them go because they were never really yours anyway. They loved a fake mask you wore so long, you forgot it wasn't your actual face. But you'll gain something infinitely better. You'll gain yourself, the real you, the one who has been patiently waiting your entire life to finally exist, fully and completely. The one with controversial opinions, with crazy dreams, with a voice that sounds nothing like everyone else's. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop faking and hiding and caring whether they care, sometimes real people show up. Not many, maybe just 2 or 3, but real authentic ones who see the actual you and stay anyway. But even if nobody shows up, even if you end up walking this path completely alone, it's still worth it, because a life lived for yourself beats a life lived for ghosts every single time. Think right now about what you've been avoiding. That difficult conversation, that necessary change, that truth you need to speak out loud. What's really stopping you from doing it? Them, it's always them. The invisible them. People who aren't thinking about you. People who won't remember whether you were brave or cowardly. People who are extras in your movie, just like you're an extra in theirs. So why give them all the power? Why let people who genuinely don't care control every aspect of your life? It's completely insane when you actually think about it clearly. Today, right this second, take all that power back. Stop asking, stop waiting, stop performing, start living, really truly living. Not the safe approved version, but the real messy, imperfect version. Your version, the one that makes mistakes and learns, the one that tries and fails and gets back up and tries again, the one that doesn't need anyone's permission to simply exist and breathe and take up space. This is it. This is the moment of choice. You can close this video and go right back to performing and waiting and hoping someone finally notices you, or you can stand up right now and start living like you finally understand the truth. Nobody cares, and that's not the tragic end of your story. That's the powerful beginning, the beginning of your real story, the one where you're the author writing every word, not a character reading lines from someone else's script. What will you actually do with this freedom? What will you build when you stop caring what they think? Who will you become when the imaginary audience finally disappears? Only you can answer that, because only you care enough to find out, and that's exactly how it should be. That's perfect. Stop waiting for permission. Stop begging for approval. Stop performing for people who aren't even in the theater watching. Your life is happening right now in this moment, and it belongs completely to you, so make it count.